Our third day began with an Uber trip from Vila de Conde to Arcos. In talking with a few people that we met along the way who also cut over from the coastal route to the central route, cutting over to the central route is very walkable. However, it may not be well marked based on what we heard. For the itinerary that we had planned, this would be the first of a few car or bus rides that we'd end up taking. But for me, this didn't take away from my experience on the Camino, as we had budgeted a few days after we reached Santiago to take a train into Madrid. The Uber driver dropped us off right on the Camino, right across the street from really the beginning of the central route. Right after we got dropped off, rainy weather started to come in. It was overcast along the drive, and it was an overcast day for most of the walk. This was really the only day that we dealt with any sort of rain, and it never came down hard. We got a little bit of rain the following day, however, it wore off after about 45 minutes or so. Once we got started walking, this church is a perfect example of how much the scenery really changes. We went from walking along the beach and the coastline to walking through alleyways, seeing historic buildings, and then we would turn, cross the street, and all of a sudden we're walking through farmland or a vineyard. So the scenery was very diverse, but beautiful in its own way.
Well, I don't mind to slow down anymore. I don't mind the sound of my shoes on your floor. Don't mind selling out or playing cover song, just as long as friends and family sing along. And I don't need more money or a faster car, no. Don't need a magazine to call me a superstar, no. I'm gonna take this little house and make a home, and then I'll never have to face my nights alone. In my heart I hear you speak, and on my face I feel you breathe next to me. Two by land, by air, by sea, and that is how it's supposed to be. Now, and that much I can say. Now, pulling loaves of bread down from the shelf, and how rare it is that I stay up past 12. In the backyard we are going to start a garden. If that don't sound mighty good, I beg your pardon. 'Cause in my heart I hear you speak, and on my face I feel you breathe next to me. Two by land, by air, by sea, and that is how it's supposed to be. Now, and that much I can say. Now, if they don't love us, we don't need them. Let's find our own brand of freedom. They don't love us, we don't need them. Well, let's find our own brand of freedom. Well, I don't mind to slow down anymore. I don't mind the sound of my shoes on your floor anymore.
This part of the Camino was really cool because along this wall, people left trinkets and mementos, and there was stuff from all over the world and all sorts of different types of things. You can see flags, little banners, jewelry, pictures, and it really just shows you how so many different people come from so far away to make this pilgrimage. And even if you don't know your reason for why you're doing the Camino, seeing stuff like this really makes you appreciate the experience and helps you find your why if you don't already have one. It was along this section of the Camino that we met our first Camino friend. She is from Poland, however, she lives in London, and it was really cool getting to know her. One of my favorite things about this journey is all the different people that you'll meet and that you'll become friends with. As you start to see the same faces day to day on your Camino, whether it's while you're walking or at your accommodations for the night, you start to strike up conversations and you learn more about them and their culture. Yes, we met people from the United States, but we also met people from Germany, from Poland, from Italy. And it was really cool because even though you guys come from different places, you guys have at least the Camino in common. Being in Portugal and Spain, yes, you're immersed in the Spanish and Portuguese culture, but interacting with these different people gives you a glimpse into cultures from all around the world. So we were able to learn a little bit more about the German culture, the Italian culture, the Polish culture. So being able to interact with such a diverse range of backgrounds was truly rewarding. The last thing that I'll add on this topic is that talking to strangers may not always be the easiest thing. My girlfriend, who came on the trip with us, can sometimes be a little bit shy, but even she got out of her comfort zone and was striking up conversations with people we just met. And I thought that was really cool because it allowed her to come out of her shell and meet new people.
A small town in a little oasis where my big dreams were gonna take me places. I would make bets with the rising sun and tell him all I'd done. Well, late night walks into Lindbergh Park, and sometimes I'd kiss a girl even after dark. And I never had to shout, 'cause I could hear my thoughts out loud. I just wanna make you proud. And Little Falls, you're a small town, honey, rich in love but not in money. Even if I change my tempo, not gonna let go of everything you meant to me. And Little Falls, you will stay my home. And if I move on when I am full grown, I will still make bets with the rising sun, like I did when I was young. Not all my memories are good though, but I wouldn't change them if I could, no. Big smiles and ridiculous laughter, I will fold that in and remember where I begin. You are my next of kin. Little Falls, you're a small town, honey, rich in love but not in money. Even if I change my tempo, not gonna let go of everything you meant to me. And Little Falls, you will stay my home. And if I move on when I am full grown, I will still make bets with the rising sun, like I did when I was young. I see you on the main street, I see you on Broadway, 'cause there is always room for two. I see you on the main street, I see you on Broadway, 'cause there is always room for you. Little Falls, you're a small town, honey, rich in love but not in money. Even if I change my tempo, not gonna let go of everything you meant to me. And Little Falls, you will stay my home. And if I move on when I am full grown, I will still make bets with the rising sun, like I did when I was young. Like I did when I was young. Like I did when I was young.
And that brings us to an end of day 3, where we're staying at the Art Hotel. To get to Barcelos, you need to cross the bridge, which is extremely narrow, so just be careful walking along as cars can get pretty close to you. That being said, the views from the bridge, as well as on both sides of the bridge, are really incredible. You're walking over a nice river, and once you've taken in the breathtaking views from the water, up to the right, once you cross the bridge, is an old fort. So overall, the first impressions of Barcelos are just absolutely incredible, and it was one of the most picturesque walks into any of the cities on the Camino. Once we got settled in the hotel, we went to the laundromat to wash our clothes, and then we decided to eat at the hotel restaurant for the evening. We followed up dinner with some espresso and ice cream, and then we called it a night.